Welcome, everybody. I know we started a couple of minutes late. You all came up the mountain in this fog. And of course, we planned this on the best day. So thank you for bearing with us. And, I was thinking about how it's kind of so rainy and dreary tonight. And then I was thinking, you know what? We haven't had rain in a month. And we need the rain to make new life. And so actually, I think it's fitting that it chose to rain for us today. Because out of this dreariness, we know we can make some beautiful things happen. As we get started tonight, we have some people that I'm just so impressed with. So I'm really excited so many of you came out. Just a reminder for all of you with videography, taking pictures, even personally for your social media, please respect the lanyard system. If someone is wearing orange, it means that they prefer not to be in any photographs. For some people, it is a safety issue. For others, it's privacy. But we ask that you just please respect that. We have a number of staff members here. They're wearing the purple ribbons, the purple lanyards, or have name tags on. They're kind of hanging out here. We do have a room for quiet reflection. So if you need to get up, sometimes this information that we talk about can just sometimes sneak up on you in a way that maybe you weren't expecting. So certainly feel free to get up, get a drink, go to the room. And we may have a staff member come just check in with you, make sure you're feeling okay. And again, I just want to thank a bunch of people now really quickly before we get started. So I do want to thank Ileana Jimenez from Congressman Ryan McKenzie's office, who chose to come out tonight with us. We have representatives from a number of partner agencies, including Lehigh County DA's office, Private Citizens Council, Reverend Sullivan LGBT Community Center, and Lehigh University's Break the Silence program, including Metro Beauty Academy, who always comes and does such really great work with face painting and lights up for everyone. We have an amazing group of people who help pull this together, which makes it really easy. So first and foremost, and if I say who you are, can you just do a little wave if you stand if you're able? But we have an amazing board of directors who gets super involved in this, and I couldn't do what I do without them. So we have a number of board members with us tonight. If they would give a little wave. Okay. Oh, there we go. You probably didn't hear any of that. I'm just up here gabbing. So we have a number of amazing board members. If they're here, if they can just give a wave so everyone can acknowledge and see how great they are. This night is always put together every year. We don't plan what the program is. It's driven by the people who we work with all year long and who will bravely want to be part of this. So again, there are so many vigil volunteers, speakers, performers, and Dina Hall, who always joins us every year and really helps share her musical talents with us, and we appreciate this. We have a bunch of vigil sponsors, including Guardian Insurance and Ben Franklin Tech Ventures, that gave us this facility. Like, what a great space to be able to spread out and reflect. So we thank them. We also know we have a bunch of you who donate to our mission here. And of course, we couldn't do anything here without you. So thank you so much. And for your interest in showing up tonight, I do really appreciate that. And then, of course, we have the people that I get to work with every day. So how many of you get to say that you go to work every day with people that you just really care about? And you're so proud of it. I was expecting to cry about that. That caught me off guard. But I do. And I think in watching everything go on today, I just know that, like, what a great group of people and what a great group. If you needed help, to be able to come and see these people. They are fabulous. So for all the employees, if you could give a little wave, and please know how much we care about you. And with that group, finally, the last two people I want to recognize, we have this amazing outreach team. So this mighty little team for community initiatives is two people, and one of them most of the year lives in Minnesota. So you rarely would know that, but I'm happy that we were able to have Melissa Robinson join us. And your MC for tonight, who is going to go through the rest of the program, and who really, I can't even describe, who's out there in the rain today, when it was like really like 45-degree wind and pouring, and she was out there fighting this directional side so you all could find your way up the mountain. How do you have to pop it
So, hello everyone. everyone. I knew she was going to say something like that. But it's okay. Our first speaker for the evening is going to join us shortly and has a little bit of musical accompaniment as well. So please give it up for Cass Noel.
Thank you. And I apologize to Dina, who's fussing with my guitar. It's upside down. But when I met my husband, Stephen, he was fun and adventurous. And we spent a lot of time outside. And he very quickly became my best friend. He was also pretty open with me about his past. He was a veteran. He suffered from PTSD. He was a recovering heroin addict. And it kind of took me aback. And I thought, I can't fault someone for their past when they're actively creating a better life for themselves. And so we very quickly fell in love. We got married in 2019, and I got pregnant about 5 seconds later. And then the COVID hit. And it kind of coincided with a psych eval that he had through the military. And that's when he started going downhill. And I hung on because I was pregnant with this child. This is my husband. I just abandoned someone. And the verbal abuse started. And the gaslighting and the excuses and the justification for his behavior. But we persevered. I went into labor, had a sweet girl in July of 2020 at the height of that fun time. And in February 2021, we bought a home, which was a great fresh start, a new beginning. We weren't renting anymore. We weren't living with family. It was ours. And I thought things would get better. Spoiler alert, they didn't. That's why I'm here at the turning point. But they got worse. And now I had a child. And we had lived in that home about 6 months when everything kind of came to a head. And there was one day that was particularly violent. And I somehow made it out the back door with my daughter while my husband spent the next 6 hours packing his truck to leave forever. I don't know if it goes the same for anyone else who's been through it, but that means he'd be back that night. So when he called me a couple hours later and said, I'm not getting kicked out of my own house, I'm coming back. I packed up some clothing and I grabbed my baby and I left. And I stayed with some family over the weekend. And of course, this happened on like a Saturday morning. So the courthouse was not open. Nobody was open. The police said, wait till Monday. And so I spent that weekend wrestling with the most difficult decision I've ever had to make, which was to file a PFA against my own husband. I was too smart for that. I was too smart to ever end up in that kind of situation. Not me. It could never happen to me. And I think that's what we all feel, anyone who's been through it. I'm too smart to end up in that situation. Manipulation happens baby steps at a time. One small step and a justification, another small step and a justification. And so through the weekend, it was a combination of threats and promises and pleading. And Monday morning, I went to the courthouse. I had zero experience other than a rogue traffic violation in Las Vegas with courthouse protocol. And so I went to the PFA office first thing Monday morning and was surprised to find that I was the only female in there. There were 3 men filing protection from abuse orders that morning along with me. So it's not just a female thing. And the ladies from Turning Point found me. I had no idea it existed. Carlotta, I don't know where she is. She sat, there you are. Hi. She sat outside the courtroom with my baby while I was in with the judge. My hands were shaking. I couldn't believe I was doing this. And so the PFA was served. He was evicted. And now I had this piece of paper and new locks on my doors thanks to my dad. But I still didn't feel safe staying there. So I went back to his girlfriend's house where I was staying for another day or two till I could get myself sorted out. And over the course of the next 10 months, I was back at the courthouse a lot. I was filing, violations of the PFA. He would communicate in every way possible, show up at the house, slash my tires, try to break in, call all of our friends, trash talk me around town, which I always thought I wasn't the type of person that cared what anyone thought. But it does hurt. Words hurt. So I was back at the courthouse just about every week with another violation. At one point, I think I even asked them, what kind of donuts do you like? I'll see you next week. I'll bring Boston cream. Because you got to make jokes through it. You got to make jokes to get through. And this went on for about 10 months. And then I got a phone call from my brother-in-law saying that they found his body. I can't tell you the variety of emotions I felt in that moment. One of them was relief. He couldn't come after us anymore. And then there was guilt because I shouldn't feel relieved. My husband just died. And then there was deep sorrow because my husband just died, along with about 100 other emotions. And so through lots of therapy, I've grown a lot. I'm so grateful for Turning Point and all the help that they've given me. They also referred me to legal help, which I couldn't have afforded on my own. And my lawyer was a bulldog. She was great. She made sure that she did everything in her power to keep me safe. And so I'm so grateful for that. And I gotta say, probably the best therapy for me is writing music. That was more therapeutic than any therapy session that I've gone through. And so it's all right with you. I'm gonna play a song for you now that has really just helped me to heal. It's hard to watch someone with every opportunity to get help choose not to, especially someone you love. Just because someone hurts you doesn't make you suddenly not love them. So I hope this touches you. Just yeah. Yours is a lot more fancy than mine. Just a fancy little thing here. Just say for poetry. No. All right. From there. This is called Someone to Help You. You learn a lot about someone from how they disagree with you. It took a while to figure out you would just keep doing whatever you wanted to. All the pills around the floor, no matter what they're for, you're abusing them. And now you're storming out the door. Said you're gone for good, I'll see you later again. And you ever had to do was find someone to help you. Anyone to help you. Walk through any door, tell them what you're there for, and find someone to help you.
if you want to. Fragments of your life flash before your eyes. You can't decide to live or die. You can't see the crazy in your own eyes. So I cried and sighed and sealed to make it real, and you're not welcome here. And all the secrets that reveal shook me to my core, filled me with fear. It's clear you wouldn't try, just crying, begging, cheating, stealing for someone to believe your lie. I couldn't look you in the eye without feeling something other than a love that wanted to survive. And oh, you ever had to do was find someone to help you, anyone to help you walk through any door. Tell them what you're there for and find someone to help you. Only if you want to. Fragments of your life flash before your eyes. You can't decide to drop the lies. Can't see the crazy in your own eyes. And the night I got the call, I showed up strong, but in a body bag you're not so tall. Now they sang your favorite song one last time and watched as they just drove you off and on. You ever had to do was find someone to help you, oh, anyone to help you walk through any door. Tell them what you did find someone to help you. Only God can help you. Fragments of my life flash before my eyes. I can't decide the story I will tell a little girl about how daddy died.
So I think we are all grateful that has found someone to help her and bring this beautiful, talented voice, not just speaking in her, survivorship and everything that she experienced, but also the strength and voice to sing in front of people. That in itself is its own scary, mode. So I know we are grateful for that. Our next speaker comes to us also with a lot of strength and courage to share her voice. So please give it up for Christine Lydia.
Hi everyone. I'm going to try to say the speaker off mic, but I'm not making any promises. So, thank you, Turning Point, for having me here tonight to speak about surviving everything that was meant to kill me and the road I am still on for continued healing. My name is Christine Lydia, and I am a health educator and advocate with a master's in health education and promotion. Despite it, I still became a victim of domestic violence. Anyone can become a victim of DV. Domestic violence has no face, no religion, no gender, and with so many different forms of abuse, it truly can happen to anyone. It starts very subtle. Your abuser usually comes as everything you ever wanted. In fact, mine was the best boyfriend I ever had. We got together when I was 23, and we were together for 11 years. He treated me like a queen in the beginning. But when we got married, I began to see sides I never seen before. It was as if once the ink became dry on the marriage certificate, he decided she is mine now and she won't go anywhere. I will say most of my abuse until it became physical was mental, emotional, and financial. So I didn't even realize I was a victim of domestic violence. On Sunday, April 16, 2023, right after attending Life Church in Allentown, I went to a hair salon hoping to have very much needed alone time. My daughter was with her father and his family. I decided that morning I wanted to be intentional with my time and give myself some much needed self-care. I got an order of protection against my ex-husband the month prior, and we had already been separated for 4 months. On that day, my ex-husband, while I had an active order of protection, tried to take my life as I sat under the hairdryer. He strangled me, I lost consciousness twice, and he dragged me across the salon floor by the hair while simultaneously beating my head and yanking my hair out of my scalp in a room with about 15 to 20 people, and our daughter was right there. I am on my healing journey, and today I want to talk about how I navigated the ramifications that many of us can experience due to domestic violence. For me, it was a traumatic brain injury, mental health struggles, including depression, anxiety, PTSD, unemployment, lack of support system, lack of resources, navigating the justice system, the absence of a parent, and homelessness. I used to be a homeowner and had a 3-bedroom house, and the last day I resided there was on April 16, 2023, the date of the incident. I went from the hair salon to the emergency room to Turning Point Safe House. 38% of domestic violence victims become homeless at some point. According to the American Bar Association, this means even if you ever couch surf for a couple days, you are part of that statistics. I was hit with a very hard reality in becoming homeless. I've never been homeless before. I've come from parents who've always worked. And for me to become a homeowner was the American dream. And it was all gone. I literally went to the safe house with the clothes on my back. Luckily, Turning Point supplied me with clothes and basic amenities. When I arrived to Turning Point Safe House, the staff asked me if I thought I suffered a head injury. I immediately started to cry and I said yes. Without asking me for details, I was told I can be referred to Good Shepherd's Concussion Clinic for neuro rehabilitation. Thanks to that, I was referred seamlessly to Good Shepherd for concussion treatment. I feel like this is important to highlight because as victims of domestic violence, sometimes we don't know that we have a head injury or we don't seek help, but it's very important to do so. I was fortunate to be connected to them. Good Shepherd provided more than just medical support. They became a huge support system for me to this day. In fact, they helped me with the speech. And my speech therapist, Jessie, she's over there in the back. Jessie, wave at everyone. And my vision therapist is right next to her, Devin. They came to support me. I'm so grateful to them, and they have become more than my providers, which brings me to my next point. As domestic violence victims, support system or lack of is a big problem. Unfortunately, many of us DV survivors may not have the best support from family or friends, and worse, they may minimize our abuse and even side with our abuser. This is very hurtful and discouraging. No one, absolutely no one, deserves to fear for their life. I had to dig so deep to overcome that pain I felt. The pain of betrayal and to realize that the people I wanted and loved to pour into me did not understand and left me hanging in my worst, most vulnerable moment with an 8-year-old child at the time. Many days I wanted to evaporate into thin air, but I believe in God. And I would not be standing right now here speaking to you all if it was not for God Himself putting people in my darkest hour to pour into me when I wanted to give up. My pastor became a big source of strength for me. She continued to remind me that big obstacles in this life are small for God. They're small specks. To lift my eyes up to God as He was able with all my burden and pain. It has taken time, but that has been the best piece of advice I have ever received on this healing journey, because it's helped me put so much for me in perspective. What is big for us is small for God, the creator of the universe. It's what helps me daily, knowing God is with me and He will never leave me like humans do. Because as humans, we will always at one point disappoint someone. I have learned to seek support with whomever wants to give it and welcome the idea. At times, it was with strangers who later on have become more than that. My victim advocate, Sam, for my criminal case, is right here, standing here. She amazing. I mean, literally, at the criminal court case, I literally had like an outer body panic attack, something that's just a trauma response. And she was amazing, and the DA too. I cried daily for the first 2 years, but still found strength within myself, digging to the deepest parts of my soul to keep going. It's important to be persistent, advocate for yourself. Support is available for you within organizations, but no one will work harder for your goals than you. People will match your efforts. When it comes to the justice system or any legal document, you need to process, be it an order of protection, custody case, or seeking justice from a criminal case. It is important to be present, make yourself known, have consistent communication or follow-up with whomever is in charge of the case, such as the DA or an attorney, so that you are remembered and not just another case. I know this can be scary to show up to every court date. You are needed and to see your abuser. However, the alternative is them getting away with their behavior and you living in constant fear or worse. The cycle needs to be broken, and this is how. You are stronger than you think. You may want to give up many things, but I urge you in those moments to know your life matters. Your children matter for those who have children, and the world is not better without you. There will be many dark days, but there will be good days too. And on those bad days, try to remember the happy ones. Create new memories with what you can, and remember to take care of your overall health and mental health. Be it seeing a doctor, therapist, counselor, joining a church, or taking a walk, or eating foods that bring you joy. Keep going. Believe in yourself. Believe God will carry you through, and know that there will be sunnier days ahead. Thank you, Turning Point, I've used Turning Point system in every possible way. I was there at the safe house for almost 6 months. And in every single possible way that you can use Turning Point, I've used them. I know so many of the staff. I am so grateful to you all. I wouldn't be standing here without Turning Point. Thank you for pouring into me, and thank you all for hearing my story.
Christine, I think it's important to say you didn't use us. We were happy to serve you. I think Christine's story too is a true testament to, number one, resiliency, right? But also the incredible impact that community support can provide. The amount of different support people that you mentioned, right? Between therapists, doctors, advocates, family, friends, right? Every single person in this room can make a difference for a survivor. Whether you yourself are experiencing it or someone you know, everyone we say knows someone, right? So every single person in this room absolutely can make a difference in this work. Next up, it is truly my honor to invite one of our lovely speakers who has been coming to our vigil for the last few years, but is now going to be on this side. So, Katie, come on up.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool, I'm a little short, so. Thanks, Lori. There we go. This is my story with DP. Crying is not any sign of weakness. Crying is survival. It's strength and being vulnerable. And it's a kind of courage that most people will never understand. I won't name my abuser because calling her by name would make her human. And she isn't. She is the devil. Let me tell you what happened. I grew up in a Roman Catholic household where faith and tradition were at the center of everything we did. From a very young age, I was surrounded by the teachings of the church, attending Catholic school from kindergarten all the way through college, go to sales. The expectations were clear. Follow the rules, live by the values we were taught, and fit into the mold of what a good Catholic was supposed to be. For years, I convinced myself that I was straight, not because it felt true, but because I thought that was the only option I had. I believed that anything outside of that path was wrong, or worse, unlovable. Deep down, though, I knew I was hiding. I pushed down parts of myself, burying my real identity under layers of fear and guilt. I was terrified of what it would mean to come out, terrified of disappointing my family, being judged by my community, and losing the foundation I had always known. Then in July of 2020, I got the courage to go on some lesbian-centered dating apps. And that's when I met her, the devil. Somehow, even though we were on opposite sides of the state, me near Philly and her near Pittsburgh, we crossed paths. We talked for 3 days before I drove across the damn state to meet her. She was cute. She was nice. I thought it was love. I was so desperate to be seen, to be accepted, that I moved in with her that same week into her parents' house. I didn't even tell my mom. I just ran. I thought it would be easier than facing her disappointment about me being gay. At first it was fine, almost deceptively so. I should have recognized that as bait, the calm before the storm she was setting me up for. In the beginning, things felt normal, even safe, like maybe I had found some stability within myself.
Something went wrong. Please try again.
But the moment we moved into our own place, everything changed, and it all began to spiral. The emotional abuse hit me first and hit me hard. She tore me down piece by piece, chipping away at my already low confidence until I barely recognized myself. Nothing I did was ever good enough. She criticized how I looked, how I spoke, how I cooked, even how I breathed sometimes. Then it escalated. The physical abuse started. Slaps across the face, punches to the body, bruises I tried to cover up, screaming matches that left me shaking. I never knew what would set her off, so I lived in a constant state of fear, walking on eggshells in my own home. And when I thought I couldn't lose any more of myself, the financial abuse began. She drained me dry. The devil emptied my accounts, controlled my money, made sure I had nothing left to stand on, nothing to escape with. It was a cycle of destruction that left me trapped, isolated, and questioning my own worth. She worked night shifts at a drug and alcohol rehab center, which was an ironic choice considering she was an addict herself. It always felt like some twisted joke, her being in a position to help others while she couldn't even begin to face her own demons. We only had one car and it was mine, and she controlled when I could come and go. And after her Narcotics Anonymous meetings, things got darker. Sometimes she'd traffic me out to her so-called friends or complete strangers she found on sugar daddy websites, disguising it all under the excuse that we had bills to pay. But the truth was, I was the one paying the price. Financially, physically, and emotionally. She forced me to sell my PS4, my Switch, even pieces of jewelry that carried deep sentimental value. Things that connected me to the people I loved. One by one, all the things that brought me comfort or joy disappeared. At one point, our phones were shut off for weeks, leaving me even more isolated, with no way to call for help. The abuse left physical marks that told the story my words couldn't. Bruises running down my back so severe it hurt to even put on a shirt. Every movement reminded me of the violence I couldn't escape, the reality I was forced to survive in silence. There were no good days, just days I didn't bleed or bruise. I stayed until December 2021, even though every part of me was breaking down. That Christmas, I went home alone. The devil refused to come. She hated my mom, and honestly, my mom couldn't stand her either, rightfully so. There was always tension in the air whenever they were in the same room, like everyone was holding their breath, waiting for something to explode. Sitting at home with my family, I felt both comforted and completely hollow at the same time. My mom looked at me, really looked at me, in a way that made me realize she could see through the mask I'd been wearing for so long. I finally broke down enough to whisper the only words I could manage. I'm not going to survive this. That was it. That was all I could give her. I didn't tell her the details. I couldn't bring myself to relive them out loud. The shame, the fear, the disbelief that I had let it go on that long, it all locked up in my voice. But even in those few words, I knew she understood. Something inside me shifted that night. Saying it out loud, even without the whole story, was the first step toward admitting I couldn't keep living that way. My mom looked at me, and she said, "Come home. No matter where I live, you will always have a place to stay. I love you." Mom, raise your hand. That was it. That was the moment I decided to leave. I went back to Pittsburgh, pretended everything was normal. Waited until she left for work that night, and then I moved like my life depended on it, because it did. I packed only the essentials. I left my keys and engagement ring on the nightstand. I kissed my cat Oliver goodbye. God, that part nearly killed me. And I drove across the state with my phone turned off and my hands shaking on the wheel. December 27th, 2021. That's the day I came back to life. Since then, I've rebuilt myself from the ground up, piece by piece. It hasn't been easy. Healing never is. But I've learned that survival is only the beginning. I found something I once thought I'd never deserve. Real love. I found my wife, Tori. Tori, raise your hand. They are a client advocate at Turning Point, and from the very beginning, they truly saw me. Not the broken version of myself I thought I was doomed to remain, but the whole person underneath the scars. They loved me in the middle of my healing, not after it was done. They held me on the nights I couldn't stop shaking, listened to the memories I was afraid to speak out loud, and reminded me again and again that I was worthy of safety, respect, and dignity. With them, I learned what it means to breathe freely, to laugh without fear, and to exist in a space where I'm never less than human. If you are being abused, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, you need to know this. You do not deserve it. Abuse is never your fault. I don't care what you've done, where you've been, or who you think you are. You are worthy of love, of peace, of safety. You deserve a life that doesn't hurt. And if you're in a situation that feels impossible to escape, I need you to hear me. You are not alone. There are people and places ready to fight for you until you can fight for yourself. Turning Point saves lives. I know because they helped save mine. With their 24/7 helpline, emergency safe housing, legal advocacy, and trauma-informed counseling, they provide more than just immediate safety. They offer the tools and support to build a future beyond the abuse. They remind survivors, just like Tori reminded me, that healing is possible and that you are never beyond hope. And if you're crying, good. That means you're still fighting. That means there's something inside you that still wants to live. That's strength. That's power. Thank you for listening. Thank you for surviving.
That's my baby girl.
Every time I come up here, I'm like, I'm not gonna cry while I'm introducing the next person, but every time y'all make it hard. I don't know how to, Every single story tonight is truly a testament of the resilience, the strength it takes. I love this quote, but I also think it's a reminder, there's another quote that I really like about crying too, that like crying is words when the heart doesn't know, like when I'm messing it up. But when you don't have the words, crying is how your heart speaks. Right? I think that your heart has spoken wherever you. I was looking in the row next to Tori. I was like, oh, okay, empty chair. Sorry. With that, I want to introduce our next speaker, someone who has yet again shown a lot of bravery, strength, and we are very proud of who she has become. So, Ashley, come on.
It's hard, right?
Sorry, I just have to say, you guys are so strong. And Jesus, he also made me cry.
So, as mentioned, right, crying sometimes, again, is when our heart needs to speak, and that's okay. But in the meantime, we want to make sure that we are respectful of your time as well. We're going to give Ashley a minute. We are going to hear from the wonderful Max. So give a round of applause. Thank you, Max, for that beautiful rendition. I think this is a true testament too, again, to how that expression can come in so many different ways, right? We've seen that all evening through the clothesline display that was throughout the hallway, right? Through the luminary walk and the empty seat at the table, reminding us, right, how many, just all the different ways that survivors and or their loved ones have expressed how challenging it can be to navigate through a situation of abuse. Hopefully you've seen some of the poetry as well. So thank you for sharing that beautiful piece. Yeah. Yes. So we are going to continue on. a little shameless plug while we're waiting. So I'm part of the training and education team, as we mentioned. But I also want to mention that the child and teen team, who does a fantastic job working with the middle schools and high schools in the area and helping teach, our youth how to recognize some of those signs of healthy relationships or unhealthy relationships, have developed. There have been students that have been super invested in that process, and they've developed this thing called the Healthy Love Club. So I just wanted to highlight that as well, because I think it's really neat. And if you got a chance to talk to our child and teen team about it, it's fantastic. So without further ado, welcome Ashley.
Sorry. Thank you all for letting me take a moment. I wanted to take this moment to thank Turning Point for giving me this opportunity of speaking today. I was a part of a group called I Am Her, and now I'm in the Healthy Love Club. And today I will be talking about my journey to finding myself. For the longest time, I've asked myself, who am I? I've asked that question when I felt doubt, when I was caught in between. Am I my mother's princess or my father's baby girl? Am I the woman who gave everything for us, or am I the man who gave what only was needed or asked for? Can I be both? Am I the woman who loves too big, or the man who can't remember my favorite color? To the man that can't remember my favorite color, I love you. You're part of the reason why I'm standing here today. I'm helping you find peace and knowing that the bond that we share will never be as strong as the one I have with my mother. I hope that you're okay with the lies that you have spread to make yourself a hero in my eyes. But I'm 18 now. I'm not blind anymore. I was so scared of being disappointed again. But I knew it would happen. I hope you live life happily with your new life, with a fresh new start. I'll always love you, but not as much as you want me to. So am I that man? Or am I the woman who calls me her mini version? The woman who I had arguments about if I cleaned the counters right. I didn't. Sorry, Mom. Am I the woman who held me when I cried? The woman who taught me how to cook my favorite dish. It's so good. The woman whose love is so big that it consumes her. The woman who not only remembers my favorite color, but has the same color as her favorite, but in a different shade. Shout out to people who like red. The woman who knew something was wrong and I didn't wake up. Am I her? Or am I the girl who doesn't try or needs to try more? Am I the girl who can't see what's causing her pain, or the girl who runs away when she finds it? Am I the girl who doesn't let people in too close, or the girl who can't pull away? Am I the girl who believes every word someone says? Or the girl who doesn't trust anyone at all? Am I the girl who forgives too fast? Or the girl who holds a grudge? Am I the sun? Am I the moon? And I guess it depends. To those who think I'm the sun, the one who's quiet, reserved, and fragile, and to the others who I'm. Did I say that? Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna start that over. To some who I'm the moon, I'm the one who's quiet, reserved, and fragile. To others, I'm the sun. I'm full of light, happiness, outgoing, and strong-willed. So for the question, am I the sun or am I the moon? Am I my mother's princess or my father's baby girl? Well, I'll tell you who I am. I'm both. I'm my mother's princess and my father's baby girl. I'm goddamn moon and sun. I'm naturally Cortez.
Everybody give it up for the presenters. It takes a lot of courage to come up here and tell their stories. It's amazing. Thank you guys so much for being vulnerable enough to stand in front of a room of strangers and speak your story, tell your truth. It takes a lot of guts. Thank you for working with me over the last couple months. I know it was annoying at times, but I appreciate it. And I'm very proud of you. So every 3 seconds, an individual in the United States experiences physical abuse at the hands of an intimate partner. This statistic is more than a number. It represents real people, real stories, and real lives. Tonight, we pause to remember those for whom that violence proved fatal. In our own community, over the past year, 10 individuals lost their lives to intimate partner abuse. We would like to take a moment to pay respect to those whose journeys were tragically cut short, and to stand in solidarity with their loved ones who hold them dear in their hearts. The 10 names are represented on the screen. We'll take a moment. Everybody can light their candles, we'll dim the lights, and we'll take a moment to sign this. Thank you.
So as we start to bring the night to a close, and again, kind of to echo what Melissa talked about, I just really wanted to acknowledge the immense bravery of the speakers tonight and our performers. Oh, Nash, I'm so proud of you. It takes a lot to risk so much by sharing your vulnerabilities with a crowd of 175 new friends. That is immense, right? So I'm honored that you chose to do that for us, and I thank you so much. As I thought about the whole bravery idea, knowing that I don't like getting up in front of here either. And so like, I think it always takes a lot of bravery for all of us. I did find myself thinking about that word a lot. Kind of wondered the idea of, if you ask kids, what does a brave person look like? I mean, hopefully some of them would name like their favorite, maybe caretaker, parent, grandparent, maybe a teacher. They might say a superhero, really. They might end up, saying some like viral TikTok person that they can think about. And once upon a time, I'm sure I would have answered the same way as a kid, maybe Wonder Woman. But as I've come to learn, as I'm sure so many of you have, and what tonight was a testament to, is that I don't think we're born brave. I don't think anybody is a brave person. I don't know that it's a personality trait. I don't think there's anything superhuman about being brave. It's really a choice. If we interviewed all of those stars who get the viral TikToks for doing something courageous, every one of those interviews I've heard, they talk about one thing. They were afraid. They just did it anyway. Like those stars, nobody here tonight has shared their story. Nobody who I'm sitting here thinking are immensely brave superheroes wanted the circumstance that led them to be here with us. You acted because you had to. We all have to act when we have to. We sometimes get to plan it out. Sometimes we only get a second. We do what in the moment in our hearts feels like is right or necessary. And it's only ever with the benefit of hindsight, with a little time and space, that someone says it's brave. In the moment, it's just what you do. Real bravery are the kind of choices that led people to gathering here today. It's where they survived and where you now use that bravery to help reach out and serve others. You've seen the statistics, you know just how prevalent this issue is. There are people in this room now, there are people here who have experienced abuse in the past. There are people who you know in your life outside of this room. That's why what TPLV does, what Turning Point is doing, is so important. What we do is we help people to make choices. We help very ordinary people who are facing some of the worst situations take brave steps, and we try to walk with them as they make those steps. As an agency, we also try and practice that same courage. We take on challenges, but we try and focus on what is right. What is it that we hear that people need from us? Focus on the mission only. And we need all of you here to support us in that. It's certainly not easy. And we need you to walk with us as we continue to do what we can to achieving our vision of a community in which all relationships are respectful and equitable, where all people can live and thrive. Thank you all for your choice to be here tonight, and your continued support so that many more people can come and become the brave superheroes of their own stories. We need you for that. And lastly, I would like to thank Easton High School Choir. They've been here waiting, and they chose to end our evening tonight as we all leave and kind of take this with us. And so they agreed to sing us out as we walk out. Thank you so much to them.
Good evening. My name is John Schlanskus, one of the choir directors at Easton Area High School, and the group in front of you is our treble choir. I want to thank Turning Point of Lehigh Valley for inviting us to add to tonight's event. We're going to sing two songs for you. The first one's titled I Have Had Singing. Singing is something that's very close and near and dear to all of us, but really in this song, the word can be replaced by hope. Through everything that comes our way, whether it is good or bad, there's still hope to be found And I hope it's something that drives us forward, hopefully finding a better spot in our lives. The second song we're going to sing for you is called Be Like a Bird. It was written by Abby Benedis. She wrote that this canon was composed in 2009 after she had completed cancer treatment for a second time. This particular canon was inspired by her own struggles and was dedicated to the High Rocks for Girls, which was an innovative school for middle and high school girls founded in the mountains of rural West Virginia. And her dedication of the piece says, "May High Rocks continue to educate, empower, and inspire each girl to know that she has wings."
So I will not keep silent. No, I will not keep silent. I must keep singing. I must keep singing. I will keep singing. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on past to flight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on past to flight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings. Be like the bird that, pausing in her flight, a while on past to flight, feels them give way beneath her, and sings and sings and sings, knowing she hath wings, knowing she hath wings.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. You can exit to the doors if you have your candles. There are 2 individuals right outside the door that you can have your candles with. Thank you.